aspirants, we are on the cusp of embarking on a transformative journey into the realm of business leadership. In today's rapidly evolving corporate landscape, where profit and purpose are intertwined more than ever before, understanding the nuances of ethical decision making as well as social responsibility is not just advantageous for us or our businesses, but it is imperative. It is you don't have another choice than be well versed with this. So business ethics and CSR, both of these, they stand as pillars of modern corporate governance, and it guides organizations towards sustainable success, at the same time fostering trust and accountability among their stakeholders. Through this course, we will dive deep into the ethical frameworks which underpins sound decision making in business context, exploring the timeless philosophical principles alongside contemporary business dilemmas. But why is this course so essential for us? Right? That is the question which we have to first answer. So, the reason why this course is essential lies in the very essence of effective leadership in this 21st century. As future business leaders, we will be wielding immense influence over our organizations. We will, and with that influence, we will be shaping their direction and impact on the society. So, in this role, ethical acumen becomes our compass, which guides us through the complex moral landscapes and ensures that our decisions, whatever we take as managers within our organizations, align with the values of integrity, fairness, and social responsibility. Because without these values, it is nearly impossible these days to stay sustainable and successful in the long run. Moreover, in today's interconnected world, where corporate actions resonate far beyond the boardrooms and stakeholders, be it customers, investors, or communities, all these people they demand more than just profitability. They seek authenticity, they seek transparency, and a genuine commitment to societal well being. So, business ethics and CSR this empowers us to navigate this terrain aptly, fostering stakeholder trust and driving sustainable value creation. And furthermore, as MBA aspirants, we are not just here preparing for careers in business, right? We are also poised to become leaders of change in a world that is beset by various social and environmental challenges. A manager is a leader, a manager should be a leader. Business ethics and CSR equips us with the tools that can be used to address such challenges head on and leverage businesses as a force for good and driving societal impact. So, in essence, this course is not just about theoretical frameworks or abstract concepts, but it is about equipping us with a moral compass and strategic foresight that is needed to thrive as ethical leaders in a complex and interconnected world. So, as we embark on this journey together, let us embrace the opportunity to learn, grow, and inspire positive change in the world of business and beyond. If you're new to this channel, I'm Anu, your guide and facilitator for this course. I run a small but growing YouTube channel that is named Anu's Classroom. It is aimed at providing IGNO students overcome the limitations of distance learning by providing quality content that will not just help you pass your exams with good grades, but also help you understand the concepts well so that you become better managers. Let me provide you with a preview of what awaits us in the following session. This session we will be covering all there is in this course. There are 14 units in this course on MMPC 20. They're divided into 4 blocks. So we will be covering all these. In block 1, we will begin with an overview of business ethics, followed by a deep dive into various concepts, theories, and ethical dilemmas which arise in the business world. In the second block, we will examine the evolution of and concept of social corporate responsibility, that is CSR, and we will be discussing its importance, the business strategy implications of CSR in the global context. In block 3, we will focus on CSR in the Indian context. We will be exploring the legislation, policy guidelines, and the role of CSR in public sector units, that is PSUs. Finally, in the fourth block, we will dive into CSR implementation and sustainability. We will be covering topics like CSR reporting processes, the roles and responsibilities of CSR departments, and the relationship between CSR and sustainable development. I'm thrilled to embark on this journey with you, and I'm confident that together we will gain a deeper understanding of business ethics and CSR and be ready to drive success and profitability within our organizations. Before we dive into our discussions, I kindly ask you to take a moment to ensure that you have subscribed to the channel and enabled notifications. By doing so, you can ensure that you will never miss an update from Anu's classroom, and in this way, you can fully utilize all the resources that I provide to support your learning journey towards earning your postgraduate degree from IGNOU. Feel free to leave your comments or questions or any kind of suggestions below. I'm here to help you out, so don't hesitate to ask anything, but just remember to keep your comments professional like you would in your future managerial role. So let us start our discussion with an overview on business ethics. Business ethics is a topic that is both fascinating and critical in today's business landscape. So let us dive into some of the key aspects on this field. Firstly, it is crucial to understand the distinction between ethics and law. In the second semester, in the first semester, almost all subjects, there was one unit which is dedicated to ethics in that particular area. In the second semester, we had an entire course dedicated to business law. So when we learn through it, we might feel that ethics and law, they somehow get intertwined. Like there are there are many similarities between what we call ethical and what is in the law, what is mandated as per law. So but these two things are not same, right? Ethics is not same as the laws. So it becomes crucial that we understand the distinction, the difference between this ethics and the law. While laws are formalized and legally binding, ethics is more about moral principles and values which guide our behavior. So while something may be legal, it does not necessarily mean that it is ethical, as well as vice versa. Ethics provide a framework for making decisions which go beyond mere legality by considering factors like fairness, honesty, and societal impact. In our globalized world, business ethics has become increasingly important. With businesses operating across borders and cultures, ethical considerations become more complex. Moreover, there is a growing awareness of issues like environmental sustainability and societal and social responsibility. Business ethics helps organizations navigate such challenges by guiding them to make decisions which are not only financially sound but also socially responsible and sustainable in the long term. Education in business ethics is also gaining prominence. Many prestigious accreditation agencies are now emphasizing the importance of ethics education in the management curriculum. This education on business ethics equips future business leaders with the skills that are required to make ethical decisions in the face of complex dilemmas. It is not just about compliance, but rather it is about fostering a culture of integrity and responsibility within the organizations. So, one key concept in business ethics is the distinction between shareholders approach and the stakeholders approach to management. Okay, so the shareholders approach, it focuses solely on maximizing the shareholders value, which could often happen at the expense of other stakeholders like employees, customers, as well as the community. In contrast, the stakeholders approach, this stakeholders approach considers the interest of all the stakeholders, recognizing that the long term success of a business will depend on maintaining a positive relationship with the parties that are involved. So, in summary, business ethics is about more than just following the law. It is about making decisions which reflect our values and contribute to a better world. By embracing ethical principles and considering the interests of all stakeholders, businesses can not only thrive financially but also make a positive impact on the society as well as the environment, both which is essential in today's world. Ethical frameworks are like the guiding stars in the sometimes murky waters of decision making. Let us now look into some of the key points about these frameworks and how they shape the ethical decision making in our workplace. Firstly, ethical frameworks provide a structured approach to decision making which ensures considerations beyond just profitability. They offer a set of principles and guidelines which help individuals and organizations navigate the complex ethical dilemmas, ensuring that decisions align with values and principles. Traditional ethical approaches like consequentialism and non consequentialism form the bedrock of ethical decision making. Consequentialism theory focuses on outcomes of actions, consequences, weighing the consequences to determine the right course of action. On the other hand, non consequentialism theory emphasizes the inherent nature of actions, looking at the motives and intentions. So, one is like the goal is important or the target is important, not the path. The other is the path is important, not the goal kind of approach. So, with consequentialism, theories like utilitarianism and egoism reigns supreme. Utilitarianism seeks to maximize the overall happiness or the overall well being for all parties that are involved, while egoism prioritizes the individual's happiness or well being above everything else. Meanwhile, deontological theories like Kantianism and natural law theory, they are part of the non-consequentialist theories. They highlight the importance of inherent nature of actions themselves, regardless of the consequences. So, in the realm of contemporary ethical theories, virtue ethics and care ethics also are taking center stage. Virtue ethics places emphasis on the character and virtues of individuals, fostering traits like empathy and compassion. Care ethics, on the other hand, underscores the importance of relationships and the care that is owed to others, advocating for a more nurturing approach to decision making. So, in essence, ethical frameworks serve as compasses guiding individuals and organizations through the complex terrain of ethical decision making. And by embracing these frameworks, we not only ensure that decisions that are socially responsible and sustainable are being made, but we also are trying to cultivate a workplace culture that is rooted in empathy, compassion, as well as integrity. So, while we are making decisions, especially when we try to consider the ethics aspect of it, it is natural that we face dilemmas whether we should do this or whether we should do that, right? Naturally, dilemmas are bound to occur. So, ethical decision making is a multifaceted process which demands careful consideration as well as reflection. Now, let us try to understand some key aspects that contributes to effective ethical decision making. Firstly, it is crucial to recognize and acknowledge ethical dilemmas when they arise. Ethical dilemmas are situations where conflicting moral principles or values make it challenging to determine the right course of action. Rather than succumbing to knee jerk reactions, that is, rather than just reacting to that situation, to that dilemma, it is very good if we can take a moment to pause and reflect so that we can assess the situation more thoroughly. That is, rather than reacting, we can respond to the situation. To navigate the ethical dilemmas effectively, various approaches and frameworks can be employed. One such framework is the ethical navigation wheel, which provides a structured process for analyzing ethical dilemmas. This involves steps like identifying the dilemma, gathering relevant information, and considering stakeholders' perspectives, exploring available options, evaluating those options, and ultimately making a decision and taking action on that decision. Similarly, we have Lynn Payne's moral compass, Rushworth Kidler's ethical checkpoints. All these are valuable tools for ethical decision making in different contexts. Another important aspect to consider is the concept of social accounting, which involves measuring as well as reporting the social and environmental impact of an organization's activities. Social accounting aligns closely with ethical decision making because it encourages organizations to consider the broader implications of their actions on society and the environment. By being transparent and accountable to stakeholders, organizations can identify areas for improvement and strive to enhance their social and environmental performance. So, in summary, effective ethical decision making requires awareness of ethical dilemmas, thoughtful consideration using appropriate frameworks, and a commitment to accountability through practices like social accounting. By integrating these elements into decision making processes, individuals and organizations can navigate the complex ethical challenges with integrity and responsibility. So you would now by now have understood that ethics in business is like the compass which guides organizations through the maze of decision making. It is not just about making money, but it is also about doing that is doing by of about making money in a way that respects people, values and environment. So with ethics you're not just making money, but you're making money with respect towards people, keep upholding your values and protecting the environment. So individuals bring their personal values and beliefs into the workplace, and that is how they shape how they approach the ethical dilemmas as well. At the organization level, the company's culture sets the tone for ethical behavior, and on a broader scale, societal norms and regulations influence how businesses are operating. In today's interconnected world, businesses don't exist in isolation. They interact with governments, they interact with civil societies, and various stakeholders. So, this triangular relationship means that businesses must balance profitability with social responsibility and sustainability. As the world evolves, so do the expectations that are placed on businesses as well. Issues like climate change, cultural sensitivity, and all are at the forefront of our discussions. Businesses are expected to adapt and make decisions which not only benefit their bottom line but also contribute positively to society and the planet. So, in essence, business ethics is not just a set of rules, but rather you must understand it as a mindset. It is about doing the right thing, even when it is not the easiest thing. By embracing ethical principles, businesses can build trust, credibility, and a positive impact on the world around them. Corporate social responsibility is more than just a buzzword. It is a fundamental shift in how businesses operate in the world today. Traditionally, the goal of a business was clear. What was it? Maximize the profits for their shareholders. However, corporate social responsibility challenges this notion by suggesting that businesses should also consider their impact on society and the environment. But what does this mean for shareholders? Well, while shareholders are still important stakeholders, corporate social responsibility suggests that businesses should also take into account the interest of other groups like employees, customers, and suppliers, and the community at large. The relationship between businesses and stakeholders is vital, whether they are internal, like employees and shareholders, or external, like customers and civil society organizations. Stakeholders have a stake in how businesses operate. This relationship can reflect or affect everything from company's reputation to its long-term sustainability. And let's not forget about the role of a government, customers and civil society organizations. Governments play a crucial role in setting regulations to ensure that businesses operate responsibly. Customers are increasingly demanding ethical behavior from the companies that they support. And civil society organizations are keeping a close eye on businesses, holding them accountable for their actions. Corporate citizenship is again another key concept that is tied to CSR. It is all about businesses giving back to society and the environment through activities like philanthropy and sustainable initiatives. And business responsibility goes hand in hand with this, emphasizing the ethical and socially responsible behavior which businesses have to uphold. In essence, CSR is about businesses recognizing their broader impact on the world and taking steps to ensure that impact that they have on the world is a positive one. So it is a shift towards a more sustainable, ethical, and socially responsible way of doing businesses that benefits everybody, whoever is involved. The relationship between business strategy and corporate social responsibility is indeed very intricate and layered and reflects the diverse landscape of modern business ethics. Firstly, it is important to grasp that corporate social responsibility extends beyond the mere aspects or the mere acts of charity and philanthropy. It is about integrating social and environmental considerations into the very fabric of business operations and decision making processes. Meanwhile, business strategy encompasses the overarching plan through which a company aims to achieve its objectives and goals. However, there is no one size fits all approach in integrating the CSR into business strategy. Each company operates within a unique context that is shaped by its goals, its values, and stakeholders. Some companies may prioritize environmental stability more, while others may focus on social justice or employee well being. So, each company has a unique approach to CSR. Therefore, the approach to CSR within the realm of business strategy will inevitably vary from one organization to another. Stakeholders are pivotal players in this landscape. They are the individuals or the groups with a vested interest in the activities and outcomes of a business. So, these stakeholders can be both internal, like employees or shareholders or managers, or they may be external, including customers, suppliers, government entities, and civil society organizations. So, the relationship between businesses and stakeholders is paramount here, as it can profoundly impact the reputation, the profitability, and the long term sustainability of a company. When considering the business case for CSR, several dimensions come into play. These include cost and risk reduction, competitive advantage, reputation and legitimacy building, synergetic value creation, and value generation for multiple stakeholders. Companies may adopt this corporate social responsibility practices to even reduce cost and mitigate risk associated with social and environmental issues. Others may leverage CSR as a means to stand out in a competitive marketplace or enhance their reputation and legitimacy. Moreover, there is the potential for creating shared value, where both the company and the society benefit, and generating value which extends beyond the financial metrics to encompass broader stakeholder interests as well. So, in essence, the relationship between business strategy and CSR is a multifaceted one, and it is very dynamic as well. It demands a nuanced understanding of organizations' goals, stakeholders' dynamics, and the broader societal context within which the businesses are operating. By integrating corporate social responsibility into their strategic frameworks, companies can not only drive a positive social and environmental change but also enhance their long term viability and resilience in an ever evolving business landscape. So, CSR, as many of you may already know, extends beyond the pursuit of profit. It underscores the notion that businesses should not only aim to maximize profits but also consider the impact of their actions on the society and the environment. So, why is this significant, you may ask? Well, CSR can serve as a powerful tool for businesses to build a positive reputation, attract and retain customers, and foster employee morale and productivity. So, in essence, it is all about doing well by doing good. Now, let us pivot our attention to Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, a remarkable set of 17 goals that are crafted by the United Nations in 2015. These goals serve as a universal call to action to eradicate poverty, safeguard the planet, and ensure there is peace and prosperity for all by 2030, 6 years from now. It was crafted in 2015. So, the synergy between corporate social responsibility and sustainable development goals lies in the fact that CSR practices can facilitate businesses in contributing to the achievement of these goals. For instance, implementing sustainable supply chain practices can directly align with this sustainable development goals. Um, in India, with its rich history, it has long embraced the concept of social responsibility in business. From ancient times, the notion of Shernis that oversee trade administration exemplified this ethos. Fast forward to present, and India, alongside with 193 other nations, have pledged its commitment to the Agenda 2030 of United Nations, thereby endorsing the pursuit of the 17 social sustainable development goals. Consequently, CSR initiatives in India are strategically aligned to make meaningful contributions towards realizing these goals. But let us not overlook the elephant in the room. What is it? Conflict. Conflict, whether it is stemming from labor disputes or environmental concerns or human rights violations, can significantly impact any business, leading to financial losses and even tarnished reputations. However, businesses can play a pivotal role in mitigating these conflicts by implementing CSR practices which address these issues and by engaging with stakeholders to foster dialogue as well as resolution. Now, let us consider the intricate dance between businesses and social activism. Businesses operating within a social and environmental context wields considerable influence on society and the planet. Social activism, be it in the form of consumer activism or civil society organization activism or shareholder and employee activism, holds businesses accountable. So, how do businesses respond to this? By embracing CSR practices, which addresses the concerns of these groups and by engaging in constructive dialogue to drive positive change. Finally, the age old debate, that is CSR a reality or is it a mere facade? Okay, or is it just a show that companies are putting on? Is it something that they're genuinely doing with genuine concern? Right? That is the big concern here, right? That is a big question which arises in anybody's mind when we closely look at any CSR activity that is undertaken by any organization. So, while some skeptics argue that CSR is a merely superficial attempt to enhance the reputation of the firms, others do champion it as a genuine endeavor to contribute to the societal well being and environmental sustainability. Ultimately, the efficiency of CSR hinges on the commitment of the business to adopt meaningful and impactful CSR practices. So, before moving on to the next session, I request you to take some time out and reflect on the profound impact of CSR on the landscape of global business. Because, as future business leaders and stewards of change, we will have to embrace corporate social responsibility not merely as a corporate obligation, but as a beacon of hope for a better, more sustainable world. So, business ethics, as many of you are by now aware, serves as the guiding light which illuminates the moral compass of individuals and organizations in the business world. It encompasses the moral principles and values which shape our behavior and decision making process. On one hand, CSR embodies so, on one hand is the business ethics, on the other hand, there is the corporate social responsibility, which embodies the responsibility of businesses to contribute to the well being of our society and the environment, transcending a mere profit seeking endeavor. Now, let us navigate through the intricate web of theoretical perspectives which underpin business ethics. From consequentialism, which evaluates actions based on their outcomes, to deontology, which emphasizes adherence to moral rules and principles, each moral values and principles, as well as virtue ethics, which underscores the importance of character and virtues like honesty, integrity, and to care ethics, which emphasizes nurturing relationships. Each perspective on corporate social responsibility offers a unique insight into the ethical decision making. So, the relationship between business ethics and society is indeed a very multifaceted one, and as well as it is very dynamic also. Businesses do not exist in a vacuum. Rather, they operate within a broader social and environmental context where their actions reverberate far beyond the boardroom. Thus, businesses bear a profound responsibility to consider the interests of their stakeholders, encompassing employees, customers, suppliers, and the communities in which they operate. Upholding ethical standards not only fosters a positive reputation but also cultivates trust, fosters loyalty among customers, and enhances employee morale and productivity. Furthermore, businesses that espouse ethical and socially responsible practices play a pivotal role in contributing to the well being of society and the environment. By integrating corporate social responsibility into their operations, businesses can effect meaningful change from promoting environmental sustainability to championing social justice initiatives. So, in essence, business ethics and CSR are the pillars upon which sustainable and ethical business practices are built. Now, let us take a short trip back in history and explore the evolution of corporate social responsibility in India's rich cultural and business landscape. So, let's move back into the Vedic period. So, in the ancient Vedic period, the spirit of CSR is enshrined in the Rig Veda, which advocates the noble act of sharing wealth with the less fortunate. We have Manusmriti. I know there are a lot of debates going on about this Vedas and the Manusmriti and all those things. So let us keep those debates aside and let us focus on what it's there or what is there to take away from it as a manager. Okay, so let us look at what is there in it for us and not look at the other aspects. So we had the Rig Veda, which advocated noble acts of sharing wealth with the less fortunate. We have the Manusmriti, which is again another ancient text which echoed the sentiments of doing businesses and that are not just for profit but for the greater good of the society, aligning with the principles of dharma. So don't think that these Vedas or these Smritis are belonging to any particular sect and don't put that kind of an attitude towards this. They are just books, just like you would read any other author's book or any other non-fiction writing for in terms of business. You consider these books or you approach these books also in that particular context only. Ignore any kind of religious implications or anybody else using these books for any other aspect, you ignore it, right? So you can approach Karl Marx's book either with an idea of learning what he had to say about the economics at that time, or you can approach it from a particular party's point of view, right? Both of anybody can use any book to any extent to get any kind of knowledge from it. It depends upon our viewpoints, right? So that is a humble ask. So let us anyway. So that was in the earlier days. So fast forward into the 19th century, we have CSR in India, which founded expression through acts of charity as well as philanthropy. However, as time unfolded, CSR underwent a transformation, evolving into sustainable corporate strategy which extended beyond benevolence. India boasts four distinctive models of CSR, each with its guiding principles. So we have the ethical model, which stands on the belief of doing what is right, irrespective of the consequences. So that is a non-consequentialist model or approach. Then we have the static model, which aligns with doing what is mandated by law. The liberal model, which is anchored in actions that serve the best interest of the company. The stakeholder model, which advocates decisions that prioritize the well being of all stakeholders, including employees, customers, suppliers, as well as the community. So, a significant milestone was marked with the amendment of the Companies Act in 2013. You must have studied about the Companies Act 2013 in business law, right? So, the Companies Act 2013 made India the first country globally to mandate CSR for companies. Prior to this, CSR was voluntary. Companies were required to disclose their CSR spending to shareholders. But this legislative push that happened with the Companies Act of 2013 has led to a paradigm shift, making CSR an integral part of corporate governance. The landscape of CSR in India is very dynamic. It has witnessed a lot of emerging trends like NGOs adapting and collaborating more effectively with corporates, a heightened focus on the environmental sustainability, and the integration of technology to propel CSR initiatives into the future. Indian companies have taken bold strides in CSR, addressing critical areas like education, healthcare, environmental sustainability, and social causes. We have the National Voluntary Guidelines, that is NVGs, on social, environmental, and economic responsibilities of businesses that were unveiled by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and it serves as a compass which guides companies to align with national policies of inclusive growth as well as climate change. Alright, now let us add some story elements to our discussion on CSR and ethics and spice things up a little, right? Why? Because I think you guys are now you might have started sleeping. Oh my god, this is so boring. I have to study this and go before the exam. Oh my god, I don't know how I'm going to do this. All those kinds of thoughts may be running in your mind, right? So I don't want you guys to sleep through this long session. So let us bring in some story. Okay, you guys like story, right? I think you all really particularly like the sessions wherein I try to give you a relatable example and try to make the concept more understandable, right? So let us try to do that. I'll try my best to do that here also. So imagine companies as I want you to imagine every company that you know in this particular world, like in your part of the world. Imagine every company that you know as big players in the society, right? Maybe even like superheroes who have a responsibility to make the world a better place. Superman, maybe one company can be Superman for you, one company can be Iron Man, maybe Batman, Black Widow, whoever, right? Thor, any Superman or any superhero. So imagine companies like that. Okay, so each company give them the cape of a superhero. So CSR is like their superhero code, right? Avengers have a code along which they operate, right? The Justice League has a code based on which they operate. So the CSR is like the code, the superhero code with which our companies, business superheroes, are also operating, where they promise to think about the impact of everything they do on everyone around them, be it their customers, their employees, their shareholders, or their community, or the environment, whatever, wherever, whoever they're coming into contact with, or whoever has, whoever gets impacted because of their actions. So CSR makes sure that these superheroes, our companies, they think about the impact of everything that they do on everyone around them. So, in the past, some companies were already doing good things for the society, but it was not organized or consistent. Like in the earlier days of phase 1 of Marvel, we had Iron Man, we had who else? Iron Man was there, we had Hulk, we had Thor, we had we had Ant-Man, everybody was separate. We had Black Panther, everybody had their solo movies, right? It was not organized. It was neither was it consistent. People mainly thought that it was the government's job to take care of the society's needs. Now let us look at how CSR has become a big deal in India, right? Now, like the Avengers assemble, they're all tried to act as one big group, right? So back in 2008, there was a talk about CSR, but it was not formalized in the law. Then in 2013 is where the Companies Act was passed, making corporate social responsibility mandatory for certain companies. It said that these certain companies which fall under certain categories, they have to spend a portion of their profits on corporate social responsibility activities like helping the community or protecting the environment. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs then laid down the rules for corporate social responsibility policies, outlining what companies can do under their CSR plans. So these rules have changed over the years to keep up with the society's needs. Now let us switch gears and talk about corporate governance. It is like the rules and systems that companies follow to make sure that they are doing the right thing. Just like how superheroes also need rules to guide their actions. We have Shield overseeing everybody in Avengers. Remember Shield? Just like that. So, corporate governance and CSR have a lot in common. They both started as voluntary efforts by responsible companies. They all started as voluntary efforts by each superhero. Hulk had his own story, Black Panther has its own story, Iron Man had his own story, right? So, they all started as voluntary efforts by responsible companies, but then they later became mandatory rules. They all got imbibed into Shield and now Shield overseas. So, for example, corporate governance became mandatory for listed companies with the introduction of Clause 49 by SEBI. Finally, there is the environmental, social, and governance, that is ESG. It is like the scorecard which measures how well companies are doing in these areas. Which areas? The environmental, social, and governance areas. So, while CSR and corporate governance focus on social and governance aspects, the ESG also looks at the environmental performance. So, the key takeaway here is that corporate social responsibility is all about companies doing good, whereas corporate governance is about following the rules, and ESG is like the report card which measures their performance. Now, let us focus on the corporate social responsibility and corporate governance, particularly within the context of public enterprises, okay, public sector units. So, CSR is a noble commitment of companies to societal and environmental well being. It takes on a distinctive significance in the landscape of public enterprises. In public enterprises, the scope of social responsibility extends to various facets, including education, healthcare, environmental sustainability, and championing social causes. So, this commitment underscores the broader impact that these enterprises can have on the communities that they serve. So, corporate governance, on the other hand, is the compass which guides the ship of the company in direction and control. It encompasses a complex web of stakeholders ranging from shareholders and management to customers, suppliers, financiers, government, as well as the community. So, in the dynamic and ever evolving business environment, corporate governance acts as the custodian of responsible and ethical management practices, fostering trust and confidence among stakeholders. The Indian government has played a pivotal role in shaping the corporate social responsibility landscape for public sector enterprises. Guidelines have been instituted mandating the formation of a corporate social responsibility committee at the board of directors level, and this committee is entrusted with formulating and monitoring the corporate social responsibility policy of the company. The guidelines further delineate specific activities which can be undertaken, including education, healthcare, and environmental sustainability. Notably, the public sector enterprises are mandated to allocate at least 2% of their average net profits from the preceding 3 financial years towards CSR activities. So, the evolution of CSR guidelines for the public enterprises reflects a progressive approach, and initiated by the Department of Public Enterprises in 2010, these guidelines sought the integration of CSR with the business plan, emphasizing the alignment of corporate activities with social and environmental concerns. Over time, these guidelines have adapted, incorporating dimensions like sustainability also, and the latest iteration from 2013 places a very strong emphasis on sustainable development and mandates reporting on sustainability initiatives as well in the annual reports. So from the first semester onwards, we have been familiarizing ourselves with the various types of audits, right? We had the financial audit, then we had the human resource auditing, lots of types of audits, right? So now it is time for us to familiarize with yet another type of audit, that is the CSR audit. So, what is CSR audit? What is the CSR reporting process at auditing? So, CSR reporting and sustainability reporting, both of these are vital mechanisms through which companies communicate their social and the environmental endeavors to stakeholders. While CSR reporting focuses on a company's social and environmental activities, sustainability reporting casts a wider net, encompassing economic, social, and environmental impacts. So, these reports serve as beacons of transparency, empowering stakeholders to make informed decisions and encouraging companies to enhance their social and environmental performance. Companies employ various methods and frameworks for CSR and sustainability reporting, such as the UN Global Impact, G3 guidelines from the Global Reporting Initiative, and ISO 26000. So, these frameworks provide structured approaches to reporting, ensuring there is consistency and comparability. Additionally, reporting tools like sustainability reports, integrated reports, and stakeholder engagement reports facilitate effective communication of CSR activities to stakeholders. In India, leading companies adopt diverse reporting patterns for CSR and sustainability. While some present CSR activities separately, others integrate them into their annual reports. Digital platforms further amplify communication efforts, allowing for a broader stakeholder engagement and transparency. Now let us pivot to the indispensable process of CSR audit. The CSR audit that is guided by the CSR rules under Rules 2014 under the Companies Act of 2013 serves a multifaceted purpose. It ensures legal compliance, financial prudence, and the efficiency of CSR activities, covering aspects like project identification, implementation, fund utilization, and societal and environmental impact. So, the audit evaluates current practices and identifies areas that are ripe for improvement. To conduct a comprehensive CSR audit, companies follow a systematic approach. That is, they define the audit scope and objectives, gather the data through surveys, interviews, or site visits, analyze the findings to pinpoint areas for enhancement, and finally compile a detailed report for the stakeholders' perusal. So, in essence, CSR and sustainability reporting, which is coupled with diligent CSR audits, can serve as pillars of corporate accountability and responsibility. And by fostering transparency, these practices pave way for companies to become agents of positive change, driving societal as well as environmental progress. So, plans and theories can only take us so far in our journey towards organizational success. The real action lies in the implementation process. So, let us now explore the vital components of CSR and dive into the mechanisms which ensure that these plans and these theories are find effective in implementation. So, at the heart of the CSR lies the CSR department, which is entrusted with the critical task of aligning the CSR activities with the company's overarching business strategy as well as objectives. If the company has a different type of goal and you have a totally different CSR initiative, it's not going to help. But rather, if both of them are going hand in hand, it becomes a lot easier for the company, right? Because they can use those CSR initiatives in driving their success. Why not do that, right? We are bound to do CSR activities. We have to achieve our goals, so why don't we make it go hand in hand? It becomes a much smoother process with much lesser friction. So the CSR department shoulders the responsibility of monitoring and reporting on the CSR endeavors, ensuring there is transparency as well as accountability at every step. So the board of directors, they are the ones who assume a pivotal role in shaping the CSR landscape of the company. It approves the CSR policy, ensuring its alignment with the Schedule 7 of Companies Act 2013 and oversees its implementation. Moreover, the board ensures that CSR activities remain integral to the company's ethos, fostering a culture of responsible corporate citizenship. Tax considerations loom large in the realm of CSR, with expenses on CSR activities qualifying for deductions under the Income Tax Act, albeit subject to specific conditions. However, tax benefits are again capped at 2% of the average net profits over the preceding 3 financial years, underscoring the need for strategic allocation of resources. Internal and external CSR activity initiatives offer companies a spectrum of options in fulfilling their CSR commitments. The decision to make or buy hinges on factors like core competence, resource availability, and cost effectiveness, guiding companies in charting the most prudent course of action. Meanwhile, CSR reporting emerges as a cornerstone of the CSR endeavors, enabling companies to communicate their social and environmental impacts transparently. Through sustainability reports, integrated reports, and stakeholder engagement reports, companies engage the stakeholders, fostering their trust and informed decision making. So, in essence, the formation and the functioning of CSR department, the stewardship of the board tax considerations, stewardship of the board, tax considerations, internal and external CSR decisions, and the robust CSR reporting mechanisms. All these things, they collectively pave the path for companies to fulfill their CSR mandates. And by embracing these facets, companies not only align their actions with societal and environmental imperatives, but also cultivate enduring relationships with stakeholders. Now, before we wind up our discussions on business ethics and CSR, let us also explore the crucial concepts of sustainable development, corporate sustainability, and social audit and delve into their profound implications for businesses and society at large. With that, we can wind up this MMPC 20. So, sustainable development is rooted in the ethos of meeting the needs of the present generation without compromising the availability of these resources for the future generations to meet their own needs. So, this stands as a beacon of responsible global stewardship. Originating from the seminal Our Common Future report by the World Commission on Environment and Development, this macro concept underscores the imperative for economic development which harmonizes with the social and environmental sustainability. Yet, amid the noble aspirations of sustainable development, we encounter formidable challenges. The irresponsible behavior of firms that are characterized by pollution of the physical environment through emissions and toxic effluents poses a grave threat to our ecological heritage. It is incumbent upon companies to bolster their social accountability and responsibility, even as governments increasingly tighten the regulations to safeguard our precious ecosystems. At the micro level, corporate sustainability emerges as a beacon of hope, encapsulating the integration of economic, social, and environmental considerations into business operations. It embodies a company's commitment to creating long term value by fostering harmony between its activities and the societal and environmental well being. Through the adoption of sustainable business practices that are aligned with the overarching business strategies, companies pave the path towards a future where profitability coexists with social and environmental stewardship. Yet, the corporate response to sustainable development remains diverse. While some companies embrace sustainability as a strategic imperative, others are lagging behind, risking the market share and brand reputation for themselves. Those at the vanguard of sustainability, vanguard, the forefront of action or movement, the head. Okay, so a new word here. Those at the head of sustainability is same as saying those at the vanguard, VANGUART, vanguard of sustainability. Okay, so those at the head or at the helm of sustainability, they witness tangible benefits with enhanced brand value and market share reflecting their proactive stance. Let us now enter the realm of social audit, which is again another cornerstone for CSR. This is a vital concept which entails the monetary evaluation of the social cost and benefits of CSR, offering companies a lens through which they can assess their impact on the society and the environment. By conducting social audits, companies can gain invaluable insights, identifying areas for improvement and aligning their activities with broader strategic objectives. So, in summation, the three pillars of sustainable development, corporate sustainability, and social audit, beckons us to embrace a future where business thrives in harmony with the society and the environment. So, we have the three pillars: sustainable development, corporate sustainability, and social audit. These three pillars are the key to businesses to thrive in harmony with the society and the environment. And by heeding this call, companies can chart a course towards enduring value creation and positive social impact. So with that, we have covered all the major aspects of total quality, no, sorry, not total quality management, of business ethics and CSR, business ethics and CSR as was outlined in MMPC 20 of IGNOU's MBA as per the new syllabus. I hope that this almost 1 hour that you spent with me on Anu's classroom in this video was worthwhile to you. You felt that it was beneficial for you on your learning journey for attending your term and examinations. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning into Anu's classroom, and I definitely hope that if you found this content to be of value, I hope that you have subscribed to the channel and enabled notifications. Please do share about Anu's classroom to your friends as well and your juniors, because you guys are in the fourth semester, you will be leaving soon. I hope Anu's classroom was there to support you on every part of the journey as much as possible, that you found value in being with Anu's classroom. If you have, then definitely do consider sharing about us to your juniors or people who are doing MBA, so that I can reach more people and help them as I have been able to help you. So I hope you have subscribed to the channel and you have enabled notifications. Let us catch up in the next session. Thank you so much. All the very best for your learning journey. All the very best for your term and examinations. And I hope to see you all as successful managers of tomorrow.